Yes, hi everybody, this is Thomas Gold in the studio, and today I'm gonna tell you something about the mastering chain of my track Take Me Home. I'm gonna walk you through the stuff, what I did, and yeah, let's get into it. So, this is actually the final track with all the audio stems, and this is my mastering chain, and it sounds like this when everything's on. Yes, so what did I do? I actually have a couple of stages in the mastering chain, which is the EQing, which is more like a sweetening EQ phase. I'm not doing surgical EQing in the mastering chain. I leave this up to the tracks. And then I do some compressing and stereo imaging and some final limiting. That's it. So, starting with the EQs, I have the PULTEC EQ, which actually adds a little bit of low end here and adds some sparkle at a very high frequency range. And it actually opens up the high end a little bit and adds a little bit of oomph and warmth to the low end. Off. You can hear the difference. It's adding a lot of like body to the track. And next one is the MANLEY EQ, which is a very nice mastering EQ plugin. And I again added a little bit of high end here. This is the high end, and this is the low end, and I added some body as well. In the mids, I don't do too much. I rather use this EQ for its own sound. You know, it has a very nice sound, and it kind of glues together the mix already a little bit. So add this one, and I have another EQ, which is one of my favorite EQs for mastering right now. It's the MANLEY Massive Passive, and it has also 4 bands, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I'm doing here is I'm gonna boost the low end at around 60 Hertz. I'm gonna boost the high end at a very high frequency. It's more like, it's actually basically doing similar thing as the PULTEC EQ. It opens up the high end and adds a lot of air and sizzle to the mix. So, and actually in the middle section, in the middle frequencies, I'm cutting frequencies, and this has to be here as well, not that much. So we have cuts in the middle and boosts at the high end. What this, if you look at the EQ curve, what it's doing, it's actually like a curve like this. You know, you have the high end and the low end, and it's all higher than the mid frequencies, and this makes it very, it's a very comfortable sound for your ears. And in the clubs, it's very helpful because in the club systems, when you crank up the volume, it often gets really harsh and the sound hurts your ears, and you can avoid this by dialing in these EQ settings, and so prepare the track for the clubs as well. And yeah, let me show you the difference without the EQs. So you can really hear the difference. It's a lot warmer, it's a lot more like a comfy sound, it sounds nice, it sounds friendly, and it has a lot of body and bottom end and a lot of high without being too harsh. Yeah, next step is this plugin, what actually works on a MS basis, which means mid and side processing. And this is a very special technique, and it's very helpful, especially for mastering purposes. Maybe we do another tutorial with this one, because it's kind of exciting what you can do with this. And basically, you split up the signal into the mono section and into the stereo section, and then you can treat each section separately. So what I'm doing here, this is the mono section. I add a little bit of bass. It's actually in the area of the kick drum and the low end bass, and then I cut the low end for the stereo section, because I don't need the stereo section to be very low, but so I can bring out the kick a little bit more. But I add a little bit of high end for the stereo section. So this makes the track actually sound a little bit wider and gives it a little bit of stereo image. Also, I use this section here, where you can actually increase the stereo width of the track. And it's not a lot, 30% or so, but you can really hear the difference. Hold on, play to you. Again, it's not very crazy, but it's subtle and you can actually hear it and you can feel it. And the sum of all the elements actually makes the whole track sound better. And it's not about like altering the vibe or the track itself. I just wanna keep the vibe of the track when I do my mastering. So I rather add a lot of stuff, doing little things, instead of adding one plug-in and going crazy with the sound. Yeah. So next thing is my basic mastering EQ. You might have seen that. And I'm actually compressing the whole track just to glue things together a little bit. It's like compression is about like 3 to 5 dB, so you can't actually hear it, but it's really gluing everything together. You can really hear it's getting a lot of body and it sounds full and rich, the whole mix. Cool, so next step is my limiting stage, but I'm not using one limiter, I'm using actually 3 for this track. So first one is this little toy here, and what it does is actually clipping the peaks. It's not doing a lot, it's actually maybe reducing the peaks by a dB or so. You can see it here. Again, the difference is very subtle, but it helps a lot to prepare the track for the next plugin, which is actually the FabFilter Pro L. And this is doing actually not a lot either. Hold on, where is it? Here we are. This is actually not limiting a lot either. Let me play. Maybe this is too much, hold on. So it should be around like a dB maximum. And then we go into the final limiting stage, which is actually the invisible limiter. And this one's reducing the peaks by 3 to 4 dB maximum. And so I make sure I keep the sound. I don't destroy all the transients. I don't squash the mix too heavily, and it still sounds good and has a nice like full-bodied sound to it, but it doesn't sound like too compressed. Yeah, actually that's it. That's my mastering chain. Hope you could use some of the stuff I showed you, and yeah, see you very soon. Thomas Gold signing out. Ciao.